Welcome to another episode of Baby Daddies. We are joined by Daddy, runner, maybe future Bad Boys Club member after this episode. We're not sure.
Yeah.
We are joined by Anthony. Anthony, what the hell's up?
What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this.
No, thank you for coming on. We're
Thank
excited.
you for coming.
Thank you, of course.
We got lots to get into.
Yeah, we do. So let's get into it.
Well, before we do that, Mario, how are you?
I'm good. I literally just got done watching the episode, and baby, she was wild. I knew it was gonna be crazy, but it was a lot more than I expected.
Yeah, this was a spicy one.
Mm-hmm.
We start off with Rico and Nigel in their private suite, enjoying their private time. I was like, this is pretty cute. There's not much of note here. They got a fondue kit. That's fun.
I will say that they were constantly interrupted by myself and a few other guys. Like, we were just like, so I know you guys are having your private time. However, we miss you. So we're just going to come in and crash the party. So yes, they did have, I think out of the 24 hours they had in that room, I think maybe they had like an hour alone because I was constantly knocking on the door. I was like, I know it's your private time, but can we please just hang out together? So yeah, I mean, loved it though. They loved it.
Like, on board. Come on out. Come hang with us. Nigel is feeling very confident, but also a little nervous because he's afraid that it's going to be one of those like roll of the dice situations where, you know, if you don't come in first, girl, you're out. And then they drop the L word. I don't know if it's the first time Rico and Nigel have said love, but it stood out to me. So for all intents and purposes, they dropped it.
Yeah, I did hear that. And but here's the thing. I heard love ya. Well, here's the thing. Like, I've said to like the rats in the subway, love ya, but could you move?
That's
so,
true.
like,
yeah.
I didn't really unpack it as much. So I mean, I can't answer that. I wish I could, but I did hear it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, because I've been like, I love you, girl, but you know,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can you please keep it kicking? Exactly. Now we move on to the other couples, where Derek was very happy that vengeance was served last week. How are you feeling after last week's elimination, seeing Barry Marcus leave?
So it was kind of like I'm never happy for anyone to leave, you know. But here's the thing, with me being with Derek, you know, I was with him in that decision. You know, that was definitely a group organized. Like, hey, listen, this has to be done. But I also believe that going back to their decision, I think the decision could have been completely thought out a little bit more carefully, you know, from aside from Barry, like, you're eliminating your friend. And also, I believe in me being competitive as well, as I want to play with the fucking best. So like Barry and fucking Marcus, amazing. You have then, of course, like Daniel and Ed. I mean, there's so many other avenues they possibly could have took. And I feel like that would have added such a different dynamic to the outcome. It would have been fucking phenomenal. But I mean, it was their decision. And one thing that I did feel really bad about when they did get eliminated is that Barry didn't have anything to say. And I mean, for me right there, I felt really bad in that decision because I know that he was probably feeling that kind of like, damn, I really did just do this. And he was feeling that kind of like aftermath of what decision they made.
Yeah, he kind of, when he said he didn't have anything to say, I was like, yeah, you kind of made your bed. It's time to lie in it.
Yeah. And also Jimmy was just like, this was the worst decision in reality television history. And I was like, you know what? I kind of see it. I agree.
It was there. It was messy. I mean, especially when there were people like, because I feel like the rest of the house was pretty decided on who the couple going home should be, which, not to spoil things, is at the end of this episode. So I feel like they just went completely left from everyone else. So it's tough. Yeah. The word toxic comes back up with Jimmy. The whole Jimmy and Nigel.
Jimmy didn't bring it up. Jimmy just brought up, here's what I talked about. And then Derek was just like, so they're toxic? And I was like, bro, no one said that. Why did you bring this word in here?
Everybody keeps bringing the word toxic up. We said this last week with Jimmy. I was like, you were making good points until you said the word toxic. Because once you say that, everybody forgets everything else that you said.
Exactly. Yeah.
And focuses right on the word toxic.
I mean, I think also Nigel said it. I mean, like, prior to coming into the mansion, I mean, there were things that he was facing prior to. I don't necessarily believe that he was looking to Rico for validation at all. I just think that as someone, because I've grown to be so close with Nigel, and he helped me throughout the entire episodes and season, is that there was never a validation point right there at all. It was just more so like he was so happy and filled with emotions. And I mean, there was crying right there, and they did have their hiccups. But again, I think you both said it best in your previous episodes, is that, I mean, this is a pressure cooker fucking environment, you know? Like situations that may have taken like years to get to, I'm seeing my hippo every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like we're going through these things and they're so high bond, they're so pressure oriented that, I mean, yeah, it brings out these emotions inside of you. So, I mean, do I think it was toxic? No. I think that like we all had situations that we were going through. I just think that their situations were more amplified because they were like in the heat of the moment. And Nigel, I can say he wears his heart on his sleeve. And I don't think they were exaggerated. I just think that that's him. When I hang out with Nigel, that's Nigel. You either take it or leave it, but he's still a genuine guy. I don't think it was toxic.
100%. Then we get this. Well, first of all, I think in this scene specifically with the other couples, the sound editor was working overtime with that damn cymbal effect. Every other second,
so dramatic.
I was like, oh my God. It didn't seem that dramatic. And then the cymbals kept on coming in. I'm like, oh, they want us to think it's dramatic. Okay, gotcha.
It was like that meme of all the old people at the casino just pressing the button over and over, like symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of intensities throughout all these episodes. So yeah, I feel like even if you're not feeling that, you hear that music and you're just like, oh, wait, should I be feeling this way?
Yeah. Like, oh, should we start fighting? We move on to this challenge, which for me, I really liked it. It was different. Photo shoot challenge and interview. It's giving Drag Race Top 4 Tic Tac lunch with RuPaul, you know, answer some questions.
Oh my God. It was so fun. I will say, that was such out of all, like Nigel and I, we all agreed on the same exact thing, is that going into this challenge, it wasn't really a challenge per se. It gave us a chance to just relax, you know, because you can't imagine the amount of anxiety that we woke up with each and every single day. Like, so what are we doing today? You know, like we knew that we're going to be facing something. So when we were like, hey, listen, we're going to be having like an interview with this magazine, and then we're going to be able to just have like a photo shoot. Let's fucking do it. Like, this is what we're talking about. So it allowed us to kind of relax a little bit and enjoy it.
And I have that written here. I'm like, this is a challenge, you know, in words, but I feel like if you go in trying too hard, the interviewer, Rachel Shadow from Pride.com, I feel like she would have picked up on that, you know? So it's a challenge, but you really have to just be yourself.
Yeah, you 100% have to. And it's crazy because as I was watching the episode with Sal, it's crazy how much of like a fan girl I become for other couples. Like, I was like, oh my God, like fucking Nigel, fucking love you guys. Oh my God, like Keys, I love your photos. You guys killed it. It's just like every single couple, including Kane and Hazel. I was like, oh my God, I really love how they said this. I really loved how they looked. So it was such a fun yet stress relief type of challenge.
Sure. Let's move through these couples. So Kane and Hazel. Hazel's very confident in these photos.
Yeah.
Very confident.
Absolutely.
Very confident. And they're good photos. But I was like, damn, he's like, I got, this is me down.
Yeah. And what do you think of his outfit?
The outfits, the thing is, I really like their photos, right? But then I feel like they may have set them up because you and Derek come out next. And I thought your photos, it is no shade, I thought your photos were nicer than Kane and Hazel. But I think it's because your connection showed through a little bit more.
Yeah. So when we came down, I mean, I said it in the interview, is that like, I think the other daddies were like, hey, listen, or the himbos were like, what should I wear? What should I not? And I was like, babe, we've honestly been spending every single day together. Whatever you pull together, we're going to make it work. And I'll do the same exact thing. So when we met up, I was like, oh, like this just looked effortless. So, but when we actually started to shoot, it was, oh my God, it just flowed, you know? There was no like, oh, what do we do? It was just like, let's just do what we always do. And if the cappers happen to capture these moments, cool. But we're just doing what we normally do.
What Derek said, just let it flow. Just let it flow. Yeah. You know, that's kind of like the ticket to this whole challenge. Just let it flow, you know?
Let it flow. And she flew. Flowed?
Yeah,
flute? I don't know.
Flew.
She showed. She flew.
The words that y'all mentioned were passionate, delicious, interesting, lovable, and alluring, and that's for each of y'all.
Yeah.
This interview was kind of giving job interview a little bit. Like there was a little pressure here. I kind of wish that, because we got that like whole first impression 3-word thing for everybody. I almost wish we had different questions. I feel like that would have given us a little more to go off of. I liked what right here. I have written, I like what you're saying about being able to let your guard down, be sensitive, be vulnerable. And what you said, can I defend myself?
And then Dr. Joe was like, it's not a court appearance. You don't have to defend yourself. I was dying.
No, I think that, but that's the beauty of it. You know, it's like having that banter that Derek and I did have. Well, we do have between ourselves. Is that's like you just have letting it flow. Like Derek is a huge believer of just like let it fucking flow. Like when I'm getting like annoyed or agitated, there were times I was like, I don't know what's going on. He was like, just let it flow. And I've come to use that on a daily occurrence. And I'll just fucking just let it flow. It is what it is.
That's good.
See, I wish RuPaul was a lot nicer like Derek, because RuPaul would say let it flow, but only if the cameras are rolling.
Only when the cameras are rolling. I have right here. Oh, let's talk about when they got a little messy.
Oh.
Is everyone here for love? That's a shady question, but you said, you know what? I'm going to turn it around. It deserves a real answer, which I liked. You were like, I'm not going to feed into the mess, but I will tell you what it is.
Yeah. I mean, this thing is like, I'm never going to throw someone under the bus. That's just me growing up. That's just me as a person. I think that if you're in a competition, you're already aware. And I think as a person, you're very aware of where you stand at in a competition. So it's not me, and nor will I ever put anyone's name under the bus, but I will give specific examples. And if you're smart enough, you'll connect those dots. That's it.
Yeah. So Nigel and Rico, coordinated outfits.
Yeah.
A little leather moment. Rico.
And I love that.
Rico has on this turtleneck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Florida heat turtleneck. Good luck.
I wrote here, Rico is giving Ada Wong realness in Resident Evil 4. The turtleneck, leather, like that's exactly what I saw when he came out. It kind of
is, yeah. If it was like a red turtleneck, because Ada has on that same leather harness.
Exactly.
That's for the,
it was the hottest day in the history of the world. So I was looking back at that. I'm just like, I know you guys are fucking hot. But I mean, they fucking killed the look. It was just like every single day they were shooting was relatively hot. But like this day was just like, okay, we're done. Can we go back inside? Because I'm hot.
I'm dying out here.
Dying.
Water.
Yeah. I mean, they had cute photos. Love them. Stunning smiles. And then in their interview, I said Nigel's very good with his words, so I just expected him to do well in this, and he did. You know, he, like you say, he wears his heart on his sleeve, so he just went in and did that.
Yeah, dude. I can learn a few things from Nigel because he's very precise with his words. However, as I'm pretty sure we're going to get into, I just say whatever's the fuck on my tongue, and then I'm like, oh, I could have handled that differently. No, I should have said it louder because just in case you didn't hear me.
And we're gonna get into it.
But we're gonna get into that.
We're gonna get to not just that, but also what happened a couple weeks ago. We're gonna get the whole thing. But real quick, Keith and Jimmy.
Oh, wait, before we go on from Nigel and Rico, sorry. The interviewer said, you know, most compatible, least compatible. And then Nigel's like, our heart's the most compatible. But they just skipped over least. And I'm kind of a little suspicious, you know.
What would you say their least compatible parts are?
The amount of Kleenex that they'd have to use to clean up all the tears.
Girl. What would you say, Anthony?
I would say tacos and hamburgers.
Oh,
you know? Yeah. There was a disconnect in the
I got you back.
Moving on to Keith and Jimmy. They had really cute photos. I like that Keith took all the direction there.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm just gonna take this white man. You do this, move like this, do this, boom. Fall into it.
I mean, Keith is a model, and they really did kill that. They killed that fucking look, and I was like, fuck. Like looking at it again, I was like, oh my god, they really did look good. Like they flawlessly did that.
Yeah, they looked really good. I was not that I was shocked because I knowing that Keith is a model, I would just been like, he's gonna. But I was like, oh, the way he worked with Jimmy too.
Yeah.
It was good.
And in the end, Rico and Nigel win the helicopter date. I said they're going all in. They're ramping their shit up, and everyone else gets left back to do a compatibility test. where the loser goes home, and a DIY date in a box for some reason.
Photoshop box here.
Was oh my God. So I was super excited for them. Here's the thing: I knew that Derek and I would have been like, I'm not getting this helicopter. I fucking hate helicopters in general. But it was just so crazy because when they won, it was like I knew that we all knew there was going to be an elimination, right? So we're thinking to ourselves like, I wonder if they're going to make it back in time for this. It was just it was. I'm actually glad that they were not there because I think that it would have been different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different how? More emotional, less emotional? What are we going off?
More gaggy, less
No.
gaggy?
I think that I think with knowing Nigel, I think Nigel would have been also like Derek, like, hey, listen, how can we resolve this? But I think Rico, based on his reaction in the helicopter, he would have been like, yeah, and also, and then I would have been feeding off of that. So it would have been like myself, Rico, and Keith speaking to Hazel. And I think that the way that we were all separated was good. And I'm glad that they did not make it back into the mansion to be a part of that specific scene. For just overall, no other parties were needed to be into that pot.
Oh yeah, no, too many cooks in the kitchen. It would have been a whole lot.
Keith and Jimmy in the room. It wasn't anything we haven't heard before. Jimmy was bringing up a lot of valid points to Keith. And basically what I got here, he was just like, that is a very lot of amount of tears for a win. The tea was spilt all over the room. And then Keith was just like, I want couples that are going to find connection and have connection to be here. And if you don't have a connection, then, you need to leave. And then he was like, you know what? What if I ask Hazel to go leave right now?
Let me just tell that bitch right now, actually.
But then there was no JK. No, Keith was like, I'm going to march right up there and I'm going to tell her why she shouldn't be here. And that's exactly what happened.
And but before we move on, wait, what were you said? Did you say?
It was like, okay, so they went from that conversation. It was like, okay, great, we're gonna do this right now. Oh, okay, so Hazel, let's get you out of here.
100%. But the gust of miracle wind kept taking me out. He kept talking about this gust of miracle wind. I was like, what miracle wind? What is this? Yeah, I didn't really agree with Jimmy on the whole tears part of it because not only did they win the helicopter ride, they won their ticket to the top 3. Like they were immediately safe. So for me, I feel like I would have been a little more emotional about that than the helicopter, if anything. Yeah, so I can understand them crying for that. But
it was like tears of this joy, like overall. I think, especially after the previous episode when we all had to be a part of that conversation between Nigel and Jimmy. I mean, that's just like, okay, so we went from being toxic to now we can just actually not validate it, but like people see that like there's more to us. So I mean, they deserve that 100%.
Which I don't know if I'd like a helicopter ride. I don't know. I'm also a little skeevy about helicopter rides.
No, I'm gonna pass on that. So I'm glad they got that.
Yeah, and Derek, I think mentioned that he was afraid of flying, right?
He definitely is.
Yes.
Derek and Daniel both hate flying. So, no, that would have been like can we just go for a run or like a boat ride or something?
Yeah, bring the boat back. Bring that boat back.
Bring it back because we're doing this.
So Keith runs off and goes to find Hazel. Seconds after talking to Jimmy, you should save us a lot of time and pack your things and leave. That it might be one of the gaggiest things I have heard. And then for Hazel to be like, just not picking up on it. Like, I think you might be right, but I don't know. Which I can't tell if he's like, not sure how to react to it. Is he like being oblivious or is he really just like doing that? I couldn't tell.
I think also, Keith goes on to say like he was listening, but he wasn't really hearing him, or he was hearing but not listening. And I mean, like if someone came to me and was like, hey, listen, I think you should go, let me help you pack your bags. I can't interpret that any other way besides it's time for me to go. So I'm not going to be, wait, what do you mean? No. You just told me it's time for me to go, so I need to go.
Like go outside, go to the pool. Like what are you talking about? This scene was fun.
Yeah,
I mean, Keith just said he goes one ear and out the other, and then Keith was like, I can't read Hazel. That's I wrote here all she fucking do is laugh. Like
That was too much. My thought here is like, what if it backfired? What if they left the competition and they were like, okay, cool, someone's still going home from the compatibility test? Then I would have been like, oh no, I should have left those bitches here.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't give them hints for season 4. Don't do that.
Oh no. Let's not do that.
Yeah, I thought this was funny. The bitch is just not getting it. All she does is laugh. Then move on to these date nights. If you could really call it a date night, because I feel like all y'all did was open the boxes, said, all right, this is fun. So Hazel, let's talk more about this.
So I will say that I actually was able to get my tie-dye underwear. I won't say the word stole, but I did them, so they're mine. So yeah, I think I'll be flossing those over the weekend. Okay. But that was not done tie-dye in a while, so that was fun.
Since the 90s, apparently.
Wow.
I love you stopped yourself. You're like, we're not gonna finish that one. All right, lead us through this. There was a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a person that I will never ever forget what you say to me. I can forgive you for just about anything, but when I have the opportunity to feed you exactly what you fed to me and call you on your BS, rest assured that I will deliver that unapologetically, and I will do it with such a sharp tongue that you will literally want to pack your bags and fucking leave. Because one thing I don't play about is my character or my name. So when I had that opportunity, I was like, fuck this DIY. Let's get into really what's going on. And the fact is, you don't want to be with Kane, and let's just air this shit out right now.
Do it yourself. Pack your bags. Do that yourself.
He help you pack, but yeah, I mean, like it was. And the funny thing is like when I watched that scene again, is like Hazel was constantly saying like I would definitely stand up for my boy and let him know when someone's flirting with me. And I was like, well, okay, I'm doing the same thing for Jimmy. Not Jimmy, but for Kane, and letting him know that like you're not here for him. And yeah, I felt bad about it because it's the second time that Kane has to go through this. But let's just air this out right now. You know, we're the top 4. Let's just really speak about like why you're really here.
Yo, I think my favorite part here is when you said, "Go somewhere and create your content." I said, "Oh, there it is."
Them is fighting words. That was.
Yeah, it was sad.
And like I said, I think that I do get really passionate, you know, and I think, like I said earlier, I can take a note from how Nigel, you know, goes about certain things. But again, once I start to get really passionate about things, I'm just going to keep going, and it's going to be a word vomit. And it's just unfortunate that those words are coming out like that. But you're going to be like, I mean, he's like, wow, you're coming really hot at me. And I was like, yeah, and I'm not going to let it the pressure. It's going to keep coming. So fucking put on an apron because it's time for you to get cooked.
Amen. Let's talk about what happened in the initial situation. Because I got a couple questions. Because me and Daniel, we on that episode we talked about it. I was figuring out the timeline, right? So in my head, you went for your run, you cooled off, and then you saw Hazel playing the piano and said, "You're cool. We should be friendly."
Okay, so I think you said it best during that. Is that 2 things can be true at once, right? So let me walk you through what actually happened on that day. That was a dark day for us, right? So dark day meaning that like we were just like we didn't have to be up at 7 a.m. and finish at 1 a.m. You know, this was just pretty much like a let's just relax day. And it was really the first time that I had been able to really connect with my friends back home. You know, a lot of my friends that I was missing their birthdays. My mother was reaching out to me. My daughter was going through certain things. So as I'm getting these notifications, yes, I'm enjoying that moment with like Derek and having all of us in the room together because at this moment, there is no issues. But then I start to get into my head, you know, and I'm just like, fuck, I really miss my friends. I miss my family. I was just like, what am I doing here right now? Like, why am I really here? And as I start to get in my head and ask myself these questions, I'm like, I need to go for a run because again, as you guys all know, like when I go for a run, I do it for therapeutic reasons. It allows me to just disconnect from everyone and everything and just like put myself in like what are you doing with your life right now? So after I did that, I came back in. But before me doing that, I actually had a breakdown and started crying with Nigel outside. And I was like, listen, these are my feelings right now. He's like, they're all valid. You just need some time away from everything and everyone. Go for your run. Now, as far as me addressing Hazel, I don't think that Hazel or anyone really knows when this happened. So I went up to Hazel specifically the day after, what's his name? What was the guy? He was Nick was eliminated. So that interaction of me looking down the stairs was looking for Nigel. That didn't even happen on that day. So I was in such a different headspace that like I was emotionally in tears. You can even ask Nigel that I couldn't talk to anyone. Like I'm reading these messages, missing my family. I'm seeing that I'm around all these people that like I'm getting to know, but I don't know. So the only comfort that I found actually was to go downstairs and speak to Nigel because I was like, man, like I think it's time for me to go. And he was like, no, you need to go for a run, not actually leave the mansion. So yeah, you see me looking downstairs, but I was looking downstairs for Nigel. And yes, you're right. I did go up and I did speak to Hazel, but it was after Nick got eliminated because I was like, I associated you two together. Those did not happen at all on the same exact day.
See, now
so you telling me production was producing? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, that's
I'm
the
not
point.
saying that production was producing. So even when you go back to I think what was it? They were like, oh well, we don't have any mics to validate when this actually happened. And I'm like, you don't have any mics because I don't think we were mic'd up at that time. It was just kind of like I was coming downstairs after Nick had been eliminated and I saw him playing piano and I was like, bro, I really fucked this up. You know, I really apologize because I automatically thought those are friends. They were trying to, as a matter of fact, the reason it happened also because of Nick's, because remember the episode when they were trying to gang up on the twins to get one of them?
Yep.
So this is where all this is coming from. And I'm like, wait, they're two different people. At least give me the opportunity to go in and say, hey, listen, I apologize. This was my mistake. I would love to get to know you. But again, like you said, two things can be right. I went in from a stance of Anthony, stop judging people. And I guess from him as a himbo standpoint is like, why is another daddy coming up to me saying this? So, but completely separate. There was, I think even in early episodes when he actually came up to me when we had our date, I said it in my confession, like there's no attraction. The only thing we have in common is the fact that he's the same age as my daughter. So I'm not going to revert back and go back on my word and say, oh yeah, now I'm into you. It doesn't add up. And it doesn't. So
see, and I think I brought that up. I'm pretty sure I brought that up that episode because I was like, it's not clicking for me because like you said, it's the same age as your daughter. I'm like, and you were all about, you know, not being here for, to flirt around, being here to find something, you know, like you had your reasons. So I'm like, it just didn't ping in my head correctly, but good. This makes a lot more sense. Good.
It was honestly, it was that day, which I did go back and I did apologize to Derek, you know, but I don't think I actually gave him the full story, you know, because again, when you have like a down day, like again, I think a lot of us in the mansion, we were taking pictures, but for the majority of the part, a lot of us had our notifications off, you know, because you really want to immerse yourself in this in the environment. You know, you want to spend as much time as you can with the other daddies, the himbos, getting to know each other. Actually, like walk away and say, "Wow, I gave my all to this." So when I turned on my phone and those messages were coming in, like my friends were like, "Oh, we wish you were here. You're missing our birthdays." They're like partying in my apartment. And it like hurt. Like even thinking about it took me back to a place where, oh, you know, I missed out on this. And when I got in my head, I was just like, Nigel, I need to leave. Like I need to leave and go back and be with my friends, my family. Like I miss all of them. So yeah, it was completely separate, you know, and I do apologize. I did apologize to Derek, but in that moment, I just wanted to leave. And there was no other way but to leave the mansion.
Gotcha. Well, we're glad Nigel helped you get your head back on because could you imagine if you had just left? I was like, there goes the TV, girl. It's all over.
Right? I mean, listen, if you had left, who knows what Stormy would have done?
Yeah.
because
after the first time, nobody fucking leave this house. You lock the doors, take out a gun. Ain't nobody leaving.
You ain't leaving this bitch. No, not actually.
And then in this, when first you're going at Hazel, like he starts going at Hazel, and poor Derek, he's like, "Oh, my head hurts. Can we stop?"
I could have the thing is, like, once I have a focus, it's like kind of like my blinders on. Like, I don't see anyone else, you know. But again, watching the episode, I saw how uncomfortable Derek was getting, you know, and I'm like, fuck, you know, I really do like wish I could have done things a little bit differently. But again, like, I just needed him to like feel what he was bringing towards me, and I never forgot about like the way he presented it. But again, I didn't think about where you're saying two things can be true. He's coming from a flirtatious point, and I was coming from a place of, bro, like, I just want to get to know you. It's like, okay, you're Hazel. That's it. So I was just on like I'm going to get you no matter what.
Yeah, and I'm a big proponent of two things can be true at once.
Yeah.
Because there have been multiple times. This actually happened like a month or two ago. I was at the club with my friend, and one of my friends went to go say hi to somebody, and the guy was like, "No, thank you." But it was like somebody that like a friend of a friend that he had met like once or twice, and I guess the guy like didn't remember him.
Yeah.
So I had to run up to this guy and be like, "That's not what he's here for. He's not here to flirt with you. He remembers you from this." And yes, it happened at Queen for the Chicago girls.
Oh.
Yes, it happened at Queen.
Of course.
Yeah, so I've been there. But Kane is going through it. He's like, you know, I wish I could stand up for him, but it's above me now. I think deep down he's like, I want to stand up for him, but we have this agreement. I can't really help him.
Yeah.
I'm in pain, basically.
So something that happened that wasn't aired is that after that scene, Kane and I went outside, and I was just like, Kane, listen, I understand this is the second time that this has occurred, but I want to let you know, although it doesn't seem like it, the way that I came at him was there was no love at all. However, I think you should know, and you should be aware of like where his head is at. Again, I'm not in on their scenes, like their pool scene that I saw. Like they were like, okay, we're just gonna be friends, because it seemed like Hazel was just like, yeah, he's a friend, and I was just like, I am oblivious to that, because obviously we're in our rooms, we're in different parts of the mansion, so I don't know what conversation they're having. So if something comes back to me, then it's like, hey, listen, Hazel is just playing Kane straight out. I'm gonna be like, yo, Kane, bro, like, I just want to give you a heads up. This is what I've been hearing, you know. And we had that conversation, and I felt so bad because Kane's stance was, I don't want to look back on these episodes and I'm appear to be as a fool. And I'm like, absolutely not. You're here for it. You're here for love. And like a lot of us are. But it's unfortunate that like the himbos that you paired up with or matched with, they're just not on the same level as you. And that's not to discredit them. It's just that mainly at this moment, it's not going to happen between you two.
Especially like this late into the show.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
8 episodes in, like it's.
Which was the one thing that got me, because Hazel's like, well, you know, we got to take our time with it. I'm like, girl, this is not the place to take your time with it. You know, like we've got like 2 episodes left. This is not the place nor the time.
I think Keith even responded. He was like, how much more time? I think myself or Keith's like, how much more time do you need? And then I think Hazel was like, well, how do we know you're not being afraid? And that's when Jimmy was like, what the fuck are you talking
about?
Hold
on now.
Like, yes. Thank you.
No, he's just speaking just to speak, to get that camera time.
He wanted that camera time. I think I pointed that out as well, along with his
content. You
did. Yeah, I think there's no such thing as too slow in the real world, but on a game show, I don't know if slow is really the way to go.
Yeah.
I want y'all in love on day 1. Hour 2, y'all need to be in love.
Like by like episode 2, like I'm proposing. Like, come on, let's do this.
Come on now. We move on to this helicopter ride. It was cute, you know. We get like the Jurassic Park music in the back.
I wrote Disney on Ice, but okay, yes, we're the same.
Disney Ice, Jurassic Park. Yeah. For me, it was giving Jurassic Park tease. You know, it's showing us the lovely sights of Florida. And yeah, I don't know. They start talking, and Nigel's like, other people could say we don't deserve it. I'm like, if I was in the helicopter, I don't know if I want to bring up other people. I feel like I would have just focused on talking about us, but that's just me.
I think if Derek Rott and I were in the helicopter, it would have been a straight up like, when are we landing? Sir, we're still on the ground. Okay, well, we're not. Yeah,
gripping each other.
We've been gripping each other like, oh my God, you guys want to take in the sights? No, I'm going to take in you landing this.
Yeah, put me down. And then on the floor, we get the compatibility test.
We've been waiting for this compatibility test.
Yeah, because last season the compatibility test was equally as gaggy. What were you
But
thinking going into this?
so here's the thing: is like we were all thrown off guard at this. You know, when Stormy came out, it was like there's going to be a compatibility test. We're like, well, what do you mean another one? Like we just had one out in the fucking blazing sun when Barry and fucking Marquise won. So you mean there's another one? And I'm like, oh my god, like here we go again with this, and I'm already hot and fuming. So you mean I'm going straight from that into this? I was like, this is a fucking setup because my emotions are still in. I have more to say to Hazel. So I don't care about the compatibility. I need to get all of this off my chest, go for a run. I need a drink. I need a cheeseburger. I need some tacos. And then maybe we can do this fucking compatibility. But not now. It was it was a lot. Like I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my God, Derek, are you ready for this, babe? And it was just we were just like, let's go. Especially if we I mean, at this point, people know if we would have ended up going home, that would have been like oh, okay.
Explosion.
It would have been an upset.
Let me tell you, I would have still been at the mansion right now. I'm not going.
They're like mid filming season 3. You're like, no, bitch, I'm still here. Just put me on the production team. I'm here. Mario, what did you think while watching this compatibility test?
I loved it. Honestly, I was nervous because you had to give me a compatibility test like on the spot, me with my partner. I'd just be like, oh shit, like, am I good at managing my finances? Do I like cheeseburgers? It was, I kind of wish they showed the whole thing because Stormy had a lot of questions and I don't know, I want an unedited cut. I want to see everything.
Yeah, give us the long one.
There was like a total of 20 to 23 or 4 questions. And it started like your basics and then it went up to intensity. I mean, like things that like, or do you both want? I think one of the questions that was listed was, are you both in agreement of an open relationship? Finances was another one. Are you insecure? I mean, like these aren't like your surface level things. These are things that like you just can't come up with. Like, hey, listen, Derek, are you into open relationships? Are you about your finances? These are things that by now you should have already discussed, you know? And it's like up, and if you haven't discussed those things, then it's going to show right now.
Yeah. For me, I thought a couple of them seemed like less compatibility questions. And like, to me, the one that I thought was like, okay, is do my friends say that I like to drink? Or am I spiritual? Because I feel like for me, I don't party. I don't need my partner to party like I do. I don't need my partner to be as spiritual as I am. You know what I mean? For me, those are like less compatibility and more so like, all right, I feel like you got to read the other person's mind to be like, okay, would they say this? Yes.
A lot of the questions were observation based. I will give that to you. Like for instance, going back to your point, is my person spiritual? I mean, that was something that like I did my morning meditations every morning and I spoke all about like, you know, like where are my pendants, where am my cross and things like that. So I think as like Derek, he would pick up on those things, you know, and those are things that again, you couldn't just start a conversation about it. It was kind of like, do I know my person? And again, yes or no.
100%. Yeah. Cause for me, like my boyfriend's the same way. He does his yoga, does his meditation. And if I was asked if I was spiritual, it would be like a maybe, but I know he would say yes. So I'd be like, okay, I gotta put that yes up because I know he's going to do it.
Yeah. The Hazel, yes, no, yes, yes.
Yeah. Boom.
Just put both.
Yeah. Yes, and then we get to the elimination portion. Jimmy and Keith had the highest score.
Yeah.
How did you feel after they announced that? Were you like, okay, we're still good, because I know Kane and Hazel just don't have this.
No. At that point, I was just like, I'm going home. We're going home. I was just like, so there was 2 parts to that. I was like, we're going home, but I said what I need to say. And when they revealed that, you know, like Kane and Hazel won, I'm still gonna say more. So it was just like I was already prepared to be like, yeah, you guys won. But let me tell you something else. It was kind of like I was fucking ready.
Oh, I was ready to do so.
I was ready to pop. But it was just like it was one of those moments like, fuck, we made it to the top 3. Amazing. But I'm losing someone, you know, because I think that all the daddies that you've spoken to, like we had such a fucking genuine connection. It's like, yes, I loved fucking Derek. I love the himbos. But it was like, once we got in our room, we had those conversations. I mean, having Sal in the room and just speaking about like, he's such a fountain of like youth and his knowledge and the things that he was saying to us. Like having us all in one room at the end of the night, at the end of production, after we've had our confessions and it's just us in the room, it felt so good. So, when Kane had to leave, it was like, okay, this is the competition, but fuck, I'm gonna miss you, bro. Like I'm gonna miss like rolling over and us like rushing to the bathroom, see who's gonna get going there first, or like chasing each other down the stairs. It's like you miss those moments, and it's like I think also because Derek helped me realize is like, yeah, I'm an emotional person. And in that moment, I'm like, fuck, it started to hurt because I'm not going to say I have separation issues, but like, I don't like letting people in because I don't want you to leave. If I could just have everyone that I love in one house, it would be amazing for me, because I love showing all the love I have and you're not taking it anywhere else. Us just like, we live together. I'm not like Joe Goldberg, like you, but I will lock you in the basement so I can see you all the time.
Gotcha. But you'll have a little more windows in the basement, Get a little hamster wheel. You could just chill in there.
I was over here just like, yeah, it's like, keep all my friends in one house in the basement. I was like, wait, hold up.
Wait, what? wait, now we got too far.
Put them in the loft. Because I feel like the second you say, put them in a loft, they're above you, Put them up. Once they're in the basement, then everyone starts to feel weird about it. But if it's a loft, no one will feel weird. Fine. They're on the second floor, They're still in a box, but they're on the second floor.
They have light. They have ventilation, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, there's some plants up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have written here, Hazel, earlier in the episode when he's talking with Keith was like, I'm so happy that I found my friends here. I found family. But then in the elimination, he said, I found a friend. Singular. One friend. And then he grabs Derek. So I was like, oh, damn, he took Keith off the roster after that.
So I was not going to go originally to the airing of this episode with at Parkside Lounge with Sal, because I really just got into like my head again. And I was just like, I really was so fucking aggressive with this. But Sal was like, hey, listen, bro, you need to get out of your head. Just come down and enjoy this episode with us. And it's crazy because we all said the same exact thing to Hazel. It was kind of like, hey, listen, you're not all here. I think that my tone and my delivery was what really kind of like amplified the entire situation. But it's like, it's a competition, And I mean, like, do I regret? Again, I don't regret anything. Never will I ever. I think as a man or as a person in general, you have to own up to things and you learn from them. And like, yeah, I said what I said. But I mean, it's at this stage of the game, you both said it. If you haven't made a connection, you're not going to make a connection. So let's just call it what it is. If you're here to play a game, great. Wish you all the best. However, you have 3 couples here that really, really want to make something. So allow us to do that.
100%. And I think, like you said, yes, last episode, you were like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You may have gotten a little hot with it, but the heart of what you were saying was still there, I think.
Yeah. If you like weed through it and pick through it and scoop it up, it was there. There was all love. The same, 100% love. You just have to take out a few things. But
take out all the yelling. It's in there, I swear.
It's like in the basement with all my friends.
Exactly. It's down there. Yeah. And we cut to the helicopter, and Rico's like, yes! He's in the helicopter cheering.
Yeah. I messaged Nigel this morning, today, and I was like, fucking watching this again and having his reaction, because it was kind of like he said, yes! And then he caught himself, and he was like, oh, fuck that. Yes! And I was like, thank you. Thank you so much, Rico. I love that. It was, again, it's just like it's a bittersweet moment, Did not want to lose Kane. But I mean, at this point, it's kind of like, we're here, We're here. We deserve to be here. Not saying that the other couples did not, but I mean, like, we definitely solidified our place amongst, the top 3. And now it's just a matter of who will take the race to the next level.
100%. And I mean, it's not like friendship can't be a relationship, but not in the context of the show. It's not what you want in order to compete with the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
The show did say we're here to find love, not friendship. So I mean, you're not wrong.
Familial love. We go back to the Romans, the 3 types of love.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, like it is what it is. There's definitely no love lost on my end. I have so much compassion for everyone in the team or from the cast. I just think that as I'm watching these episodes again, I think that I'm gonna say this to the cast, and I hope that they end up watching this, is that they need to understand that we had issues on the season. We spoke about those issues. I'm looking at all of them. We spoke about those issues. We got over those issues. And we all agreed that, yes, there's going to be times that we're going to get into our feelings. But let's not forget the conversation we all had prior to leaving the mansion, saying that we're still all going to be close to each other. We're still all going to be friends. And I think that some of the cast is forgetting those conversations that we had because, yeah, we had issues. We had beef. But now, guess what? 6 months, 7 months after, we still can't let those feelings resonate with us. We've grown. We're all in different places. So let's not go back to previous attitudes and be immature about things.
100%.
And I'm only saying that to certain people.
And you're no longer in that pressure cooker situation.
No,
so
we're not there anymore.
Yeah.
Let's call it. We had an experience together. It was a beautiful, rough, challenging experience. We all should have grown from that into more mature people. And I'm hoping that, if they haven't, they look back at us and say, listen, what? I have an opportunity to be a better person or a different person than what I was portrayed on the television as.
Amen. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode.
Hey.
Well, Stormy also has to dodge some tie-dye pants and other things from a drone helicopter in the sky. But yeah, I think we're getting a top 2 situation next week, maybe. But congrats to our top 3. Congrats to all y'all.
Yeah. It's I think actually, I think at the end of this episode, you see a preview of previous daddies and himbos coming back.
Everyone's coming back.
Mm-hmm. They're the dessert, like Stormy said.
I'm excited.
I don't have to be too at all. Let me tell you. So that was that was a bit of a shocker, but stay tuned.
All right, I'm excited. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Before we leave, Anthony, you want to drop your socials, promote anything?
Yeah, actually. So I am going to be, I never even knew I was a writer, but I was reached out by a magazine, which I'll be posting it on my IG, which is limited edition _Leo, because I am a Leo. But yeah, I'm writing on the difficulties and challenges of being a queer father. And then there's another article I'm doing. I'm being interviewed for my experience on television as a reality show. And then I'm working with Rigo with a sponsoring by an underwear campaign. So
nice.
Ooh.
Cool. When did those articles come out? Do you know?
So the articles are actually going to be published within the next couple of months. Because one is not a US based magazine, and then the other magazine it's going to be next month, definitely next month.
Cool. We'll keep eyes out.
Thank
Mario, where's the booty do the origami at?
The booty do the origami on twitter.com. Catch pictures, videos. I'm gonna throw some gifts up there. I'll do what else? I'll do a panorama if you want. Whatever you want to pay me for.
Yep, that's at booty origami. My name is Jake. You can follow me at Crow Kunk for my personal stuff, where I mostly talk about Pokemon and X-Men and other nerd shit. You can also follow me at Poison Touch Pod to see my other podcast, The Poison Touch Advice Hour, where a gay and his friends give you all the best and worst advice to deal with all of life's predicaments. Also, if you are listening to this when it comes out on the hold on now.
The 26th?
On the 18th, because it'll be on Monday. If you're listening to this on the 18th, you can also catch me on another podcast I guest hosted, Aaron the Bland podcast, talking about Hellraiser, the 1987 horror film, and one of my and Mario's favorites. So yeah, go check us out there and leave us 5 stars if you're checking us on Spotify, Apple Music, or YouTube. We'll catch y'all next time.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.